welcome to a slightly different video today. I had something else planned and I actually did record the previous week, but that video is gonna come out in the next few days. Today instead I thought that since we're nearing the new year, it would be the perfect time for me to talk about this, the Hobonichi Techo. That is the planner that I've been using for the past year. If you've been subscribed to my channel since last year, you probably know that I used to do Notion videos. However, I did start with the best of the intentions using Notion, and I was using Notion before, but the more I was using it, the more I was realizing that I need a physical planner. I love digital because it definitely allows you to move things around much easier than the physical planner, but I think I am one of those people that do need to have everything under their eyes all the time. I feel like with a physical planner you can always have it open on your desk and accessible, and it's just easy to kind of like move between pages. So yeah, I did give this a go. Also, I hope you can't hear the wind outside because it's like very strong. Yeah, so I thought this time around, instead of doing a video about the system I will use in the upcoming year, I'm gonna do a review of a system I've used for the whole year. And I have to admit that this is, spoiler alert, is the only planner I've actually stuck with this much. And also I wanted to show you a very realistic use of a planner, because I see so many aesthetic videos, but I'm sure that 90% of the people in the world won't use a planner like that. And I would love to be able to use a planner like that, but my planner is not aesthetic at all. It's just functional, and that is what a planner is for me. And the really big question is, will I use it again next year? Stay tuned until the end of the video to see if I'm actually going to use it again. I really hope you can find this video useful, and let's get into it. So for those who don't know how the Hobonichi is structured, the first pages have the year at a glance, and then it goes into each single month for the whole year in this kind of layout, and then it goes into each single month of the year in this layout instead. Then it goes into the weekly planner, and then finally it starts with the daily planner. And then at the end you do have some free space to write whatever you want, and then some other bits and bobs that I've personally never used. I have started here to check off every day, but you can see that it stopped basically on the 23rd of January and then completely forgot about doing it. And then you also have this kind of transparent, sturdy grid and ruler. So let's start from the beginning. I definitely feel like every year you start with the best intentions. And so the beginning of the year, January especially, is looking amazing. I did see people using this section as a habit tracker, but you can here see that I quickly gave up on that system. I did try to reintroduce it in the second part of the year, but I didn't stick with it Until April, I did use this section a bit because I was doing a course. So it was useful to have all the deadlines and all the classes throughout the month at a glance. And here as well, I was using colors. I also tried to set it up as like the main goals for the month and then potential other potential goals that I could achieve. But then already May, you see how I've basically only used the goals section and didn't write anything at all here. This part, I didn't find it useful for me, at least. I did try to use it again in November, but again, not my thing, I guess. Then we finally get to the weekly view. I feel like with this view, I went a lot back and forth. I was using it and then I wasn't using it. At the beginning, I was just writing basically here the to-dos, but then again, I wanted that system of having like 3 main goals and then other to-dos. Again, this was very useful for my course because I had the main goals and I had here all the different times in which I was having classes. You can see that I kept using it throughout January, in February as well, then in March as well. There are weeks in which I use it more and weeks I use it less. Something I also want to explain is that during that time, I wasn't really doing much content between April and November, like no content at all. Until June, I was just focusing on my job, so I wasn't using this planner as much. Then I was laid off, and that's when in July I started to reuse it again. I think the month of July and August and September were a bit like tough months in which I was trying to kind of like understand what I wanted to do with the situation. So I felt like I didn't use the planner that much. But then in November, when I was like, in October, when I was doing Pitchtober, and then in November when I started doing content again, I started using it way more. And you can definitely see here that I was more diligent. And then we finally get to the daily view. And I feel like the daily view was probably the most used view for me. But I also did really like the weekly view because at the beginning of the week, I could kind of like plan out the week and have an understanding of what I wanted to achieve in that week. But yeah, again, at the beginning of the year, I found this layout that I was very happy with. I was kind of using the Hobonichi both as a planner and as a journal. I was writing weekly reflections. I was using a section for gratitude, answering the typical 3 journaling questions like 3 wins, best thing that happened, and how will you improve. However, you will see that I didn't stuck with it for that long, I think. I also did try this option in March, the month of reflections. And I really love this thing because it makes me feel better seeing how much I've done throughout the month. But I think for me it's like more sitting down and being able to, I wouldn't say force myself, but almost to do it. That is the trickiest part, and like spend time doing this. But yeah, you see, like sometimes I was doing it, sometimes I was forgetting about doing it. And then again, from March, I kind of like didn't use much this view either. Then I started using it back a bit in April, on and off. The way I've been using this is kind of like having the 3 main goals for the day here and then writing the additional to-dos that I could potentially do that day in case I finished those, or if I didn't maybe really fancy doing those. And here again you see how in August I did use it not as much, and then brought it back in September when I started to have a better vision of what I wanted to do and I really needed a planner for it. And again, in October is the time where I started using this again, like a lot. I started also trying to kind of like add some drawings, but didn't really work that well as I'm using the other journal for my drawings. Did try something else here. And yeah, this is really it. I've also been using these ones as markers instead of these ones because I just have to remember to move it every time. This is it. This is how I've used my planner. Okay, so I hope seeing how I've been using this planner was helpful in some way to you, and I promised you that I would let you know if I'm gonna buy this planner again next year, and the answer is yes. This is actually going to be one of my Christmas presents. I'm very sad that they didn't bring back this design for this year. I wasn't really happy with the designs that they had for this year Techo, so I ended up just buying the cousin that is basically the same, just not with a hardcover. I know they do sell covers, but again, I'm not really a fan of the designs for this year. Maybe I will try to do some DIY or just buy a cover somewhere else. Let me know in the comments if you have used the Hobonichi and how it's been for you. Do you like the way it's set up? Are you gonna buy a new one for next year? Are you a digital planner fan or a physical planner fan? I'm very curious to hear more in the comments. Stay tuned for the next video that hopefully is gonna come out in the next few days or in the next week, because that one is a good one as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!